O divine master, most evil and supreme being, in the name of fear, hate, and destruction, I prepare this body filled with royal blood as my sacrifice and offering. Through the symbol of your sovereignty, this scepter, the key to your resurrection and power, I will bring about the cataclysm, the final and decisive clash between the sons of light and the sons of darkness.
Now it's garbage.
Just another movie night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are Just Another Movie Night, and I am Scott.
And I'm Joe.
Hey.
Hi.
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 You know what we're doing today?
Talking trash?
Talking trash. This is our show to review, spoil, debate, crap on, and give second chances to the hated, the lowest rated, the much debated, and the often forgotten flicks on the internet, all while asking the question, is this the worst movie ever made? And if not, what is? Because here on the show, we truly believe you can't review a film unless you know what the worst is. And that's what brings us here today. We're celebrating Chuck Norris's birthday the only way we know how. By watching Bottom of the Barrel.
I mean, I beg to differ on that.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. You know, we here's what it was. I think last year, not last year, but maybe the year before, we watched a movie on Christmas that had Chuck Norris in it. And we realized we hadn't seen many of his movies. And so we said, you know what, we have to revisit him in 1 month. And maybe just watch a bunch of his movies and see if we like his movies, because we really haven't seen many of his movies.
Well, no, I have to ask you, how did you, what was the vetting process on these movies?
Well, you know what, I have to put you in priority. Because I think about what you want to watch, and then what you might enjoy, or what I think might be really funny.
Okay.
So last week we watched one where he was a person. Well, I thought he was a person who turned into a spirit animal, and then I was like, how could this not be funny if he's like a transformer, but for animals? You know, how could we lose on that? Is what I thought. And then this week I said, okay, my wife loves horror movies. So I was thinking, okay, an action horror film. Today we were talking about a movie that's tagline is a Chicago cop is about to face his worst nightmare. Only this time, it's real. We're talking about 1994's Hellbound. It was directed by Chuck Norris's younger brother, Aaron Norris.
This is the second one that he's done in a row.
Yeah, last week I named everything he has done. We won't do that again.
Yeah, let's not. But he directed the last movie that we watched of Chuck Norris.
Yes,
which is,
this is 2 for 2 here.
What the hell was that one called? I even forgot already.
Forest Warrior.
Forest Warrior. Oh, good Lord.
So yeah, I saw this was called Hellbound, and I saw the plot was a cop versus like a satanic demon. And I was like, how can we lose?
I mean, it's such a good notion.
Yeah. I mean, that tagline is a straight up lie.
I mean,
let's face
it's
facts.
A silly tagline as it is.
Yeah, Chuck Norris doesn't have fears.
No, he doesn't. But it's like completely generic. But
yeah, I agree.
Also, I'm going to say, did you say the year of this movie? 1996?
94.
94.
Yes.
Okay. Because all I was getting was 1987 vibes.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about here with that might explain itself a little bit. And when I say a lot of things, I'm not being... there's not a lot of things. There's a couple things that might actually explain why this movie feels the way it does, or why it looks the way it does.
What, did it sit on a shelf for 3 years, 4 years?
Well, let's get into that, because this movie has a 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb from 4,000 reviewers. Okay, and that's pretty much how I chose it. I always choose those ones that people hold the lowest, and they, that's what we do here.
Yeah.
So I picked this one in particular, but what I really was interested in was the fact that following lawsuits and financial ruin, this is the last Cannon film ever put out.
No, for real?
Yeah. This was during Cannon's complete collapse.
No wonder it didn't feel canon-y.
Yeah, well,
because Cannon has a feel
yeah, and I think this has that.
Cannon had over 250 films from like the 60s to, I guess this is the last one you said, the very last.
This is the last one released under their thing while they were dealing with the bankruptcy and all the lawsuits from all the actors they didn't pay, and so all that stuff.
So who had to pay for all that? Because aren't they now? They are now owned by MGM, right? Don't they have?
Well, what do you mean, like distribution of their films?
Yeah, distribution rights. Yeah,
I guess that's true. But they probably sold off all the assets they had to pay off everything. Because they had a lot of people on their contract. One of those people on their contract was Chuck Norris. Mm-hmm. And so they signed these people on for like multi-movie deals. Unfortunately, people like Michael Dudikoff and Charles Bronson weren't actually paid.
That's baffling.
So you don't want to get people like Charles Bronson pissed off.
I wouldn't want to get him.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. And so they actually owned the whole concept of Texas Ranger. They had another name for it, and then they sold it off, and it became Texas Ranger, which is kind of a spawn off of this movie because the lead actress in this film actually is one of the lead actresses in that show.
Oh, okay. Neat.
Yeah.
Do I know her from anything else?
Dallas?
Oh, Lord.
She was one of the main characters in Dallas.
What was I, like 10?
Hey, that's the only thing I can get for you on that one.
JR?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I know.
So, yeah, I mean, this movie, it's credited as the last film. And I would say that you said you don't feel canon. I feel canon on this thing because it feels like it was on the cheap while also having a decent production, but there's problems here, and I know where they stem from. And the biggest thing, which we as we talk about the movie, is very visible. The whole movie was actually shot in Israel.
Oh, okay. Wait, not the Chicago scene.
Oh, everything.
Really?
Yeah, you can see them trying to fake everything.
Oh, wow.
None of the opening in this movie feels like it's in Chicago. Even the cops' uniforms are funny. Did you notice, like, the chief of police that they keep talking to in this movie? She has, like, a badge on the side of her. It does not look right. It looks really fake.
That.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Even the desks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everything about it just feels off. And that's one of the funny things about this movie. Now, we got to talk about this because as we talk about this film, as we try to dive in and break down this plot of this film, one of the things to point out is that we had a hard time finding a good quality copy of this. Now, we don't really know if there is a good quality copy out there.
I mean, I'm going to say that maybe there's a DVD that might be decent, but I feel like, I don't know, we couldn't win here because we had like a blurry picture, really blurry, where I have terrible vision, so I couldn't see anything. So then we rented the movie, but then the voice was off. Like it was overdubbed.
Yeah, so the first copy we found was on YouTube for free. Someone had it burned on there, and there's like a whole Chuck Norris tab on YouTube someone has. And this was one of the films, but the problem was stretching it out to a big screen didn't work out in our favor. We could hardly tell. Mm-hmm. And then when we said, okay, screw it, we can't do this, we have to rent it. So we went and rented it. And then the like you were talking about, the dubbing, the transfer of the audio was completely off. We had to stop the movie and go look if our audio was off.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. And as this movie went on, the audio got worse.
Yeah.
It did not sync up at all. It almost seemed like the whole film was dubbed. And then learning that it was shot in Israel, I was wondering if they had a problem with the file, the audio, and maybe they laced it. Maybe a lot of people in this movie couldn't speak English.
That makes a lot of sense now because, like, I even asked you when we were watching the movie. I'm like, is this shot somewhere else? But then they're Chicago cops, and it looked like this, could be a city. So I was like, But you didn't have any information on that to know if they, well, right off the bat, to know if they shot actually in different.
What I saw was the entire production was in Israel.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you ask me, that does not look like Chicago at all in the opening. And later on, at one point, it goes, it says Italy. It's like, no way in hell, that's Italy.
Here's the thing. It's like it bounces from Chicago to Italy to Israel. And don't we go someplace else in between there?
Well, no, it's like, I guess the one set piece is Jerusalem. So that's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then when it actually goes there, you're like, oh, they never left here.
Yeah.
Which is funny because everybody's outfits assume that it's it doesn't seem as hot.
That's
because
true.
Everybody's bundled the hell up.
I mean, yeah, big time. Big time.
It seems like it should be way hotter. Every time someone like Chuck Norris was wearing a jacket, I was like, holy crap, how hot is it? Everybody's wearing black. Like it just seems like they're not a good idea.
So do you think that, so Aaron Norris, the director of this, was he under contract with Canon also, in addition to?
If I had to guess, Chuck Norris, he's like a package deal.
Yeah.
I feel like when you have Chuck Norris under contract, part of his contract is to bring his friends and family, because as we're seeing so far with 2 movies in, it's a friend and family deal. When he signs a contract, he if he likes you, you're coming along, because right after this movie, the actress went and did the show with him. So it must be a part of like, okay, we have chemistry. Let's go do the whole show now.
It seemed like the two of them had a little bit too much chemistry.
Yeah, I had to look into it. I was wondering if there was something going on, but she was married, so.
I mean, that doesn't mean a thing.
And well, he's very Christian, so I'm.
Is he?
Yeah, he's super.
He does a lot of ass kicking for a Christian.
He kicks ass for the Lord, Joe.
How did I know that was going to come out of your mouth?
Okay.
Jump kicks for Jesus?
Yeah. Yes, he definitely jump kicks, jabs, and jump kicks. Let's talk this movie out, because I feel like the longer we go without talking about the plot, the more is going to seep out of my brain.
Well, yeah, we should talk about it, because what I remember, or what I could pick up, what was going on. I mean, it's very, if you don't really have to think about it too hard. It's pretty bare bones.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of this movie. It seems like a lot should be happening, but it isn't. And in fact, there's not even a big cast. There's just like 5 main players.
There is, but you know what? I will say those 5 main players, they do make a nice little, shepherd's pie. They do make a nice shepherd's pie with
full of bullshit, maybe.
With Chuck Norris being the mashed potatoes.
He's the topping.
He's the topping.
I would actually disagree and say the topping is actually the actor who's playing the villain.
Well,
because let's face facts, he's doing the heavy lifting in this film.
You know what? He could be the carrots. Carrots are good.
I prepare to anoint my spirit with this royal blood.
and Jackson, Officer Jackson, he can be the peas.
Well, let's get into it, okay?
Oh, man, time's up. You're dead.
Spider.
Oh, thank you.
Now get lost. And if I ever see your ass around here again, it is shadows. I love this good cop, bad cop shit, man. But next time, I want to be the bad cop.
All right. So let's start off how this movie starts off. We're talking about it starts off in Monty Python's Holy Grail. Right? We're right in there where we have like King Richard.
It's King Richard.
Yeah. King Richard goes on a we get to see the whole ride. Now, that's how you know this is canon, by the way.
Yes.
Because they already had half of that shit going, because every production canon had these openings.
Well, didn't they just like scooch the actors from one set to
That's what I'm
another? They're like,
I was
don't
like,
even change. You're fine.
They must have been filming Deathstalker 18 at the same time, and they just went and got everybody over.
No, seriously,
Yeah.
they literally did not even like. They're just like, oh, you don't have to change your clothes. Just
In
just go on.
fact, the actor who's playing King Richard couldn't even fit in his helmet. They just stuck it on his head.
It was
It's like
literally
half
just.
on.
Oh my god! It was a child's helmet.
It did seem too
didn't even
small for
fit.
his head.
Also, can we talk about how shiny that shit was? Like, it was almost like one of those costumes that you rent for, like, you know, like when you're a rich person and you want to have every detail, and it's like gold plated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he had. He
Yes.
had one of those ridiculous costumes that you rent.
And luckily, all the fog machines were left over from the last production, so they could just fog up. Because some reason in all these movies, you're always riding through fog.
Yeah,
and
and
sunny
you know,
day.
for some, I guess they must have run out of, like, the wardrobe department must have run out of sandals because everyone was wearing combat boots.
When you noticed that they were wearing boots, I was like, okay, this is
I'm
definitely
like, what
canon.
is this? Who's sponsoring this movie?
Yeah.
Doc Martin?
And that's why I couldn't stop staring at every set in this movie, because I was like, Canon didn't have money. So how do they get some of the stuff on the set? And I kept thinking, they're just quickly reusing everything they've ever used in a movie.
The whole entire set was reused.
It had to be.
Some pieces look like they took it out of Jim Henson's Fraggle Rock. Excuse me, Jim. Can I just borrow this for a moment? I'll bring it right back. That is a nice boulder. Let me take that. That'll go well in our scene.
I was trying to even notice if they used reused music, because it does have, and I pointed this out right off the bat in this film, where they're riding and you get that riding montage. You have the classical, like, religious chanting music.
Okay. I love the score in this movie.
You did?
Yes, it was so much fun.
Oh, because I felt like it was just so generic. Like, you've heard this before.
Oh, maybe, yes, of course. But I mean, it was just fun. It just went along. Like, one minute you're in Chicago, and then, like, the next minute you're in Israel, and the transition, it's fine. It works for both. No, juice, Monarus.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Bad guy coming. Get him fastly. That's like it. And it's just chanting of that. And when I said to you, this is the first thing I said during the movie, I went, oh, you know, nothing is going to live up to this music.
No, it was fantastic. I had a great time with that music.
Yeah. And I was right, because, well, I think I was right. It turns out we actually have a text scroll we didn't mention.
We do.
And the text scroll was kind of one of those text scrolls I was like, that's a lot of information and my brain's not able to process it right now.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. It was just like, in the time of his Lord, and the whole, I was like, wait, what? Oh, the lion? What was that? Okay. All right. It doesn't matter. Riding through, credit scroll. Okay, I got it. All right, we're into this. I didn't expect... I actually said to you, I think I picked the wrong movie. I don't know if this is the one we're supposed to be watching, because I didn't expect knights.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't either. This is a Chuck Norris movie. But then again, in the last film, I didn't expect him to be a forest warrior either.
That's true. Did you think that the monk... Okay, let me just explain this. They ride, and the whole purpose of what's going on here is that there is a villain who is your typical monk-dressed villain, that brown monk outfit, like with the hood, and that just means bad guy. And he is holding a baby hostage who's going to sacrifice on an altar.
Apparently, this is the prince, so I'm guessing that this is King Richard's son?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm guessing?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why else would he be so personally involved? He
You're
literally
right,
came
you're right.
in to save his child. So
He doesn't say it once, but yeah.
No, he says the prince,
The
so
prince.
obviously you're just led to believe. But so he's trying to get his baby out of there, and this demon is going to sacrifice the baby.
Yeah, and the only reason we know this dude, because he just looks like a normal bald asshole.
Does he, though?
And then his eyes start going into what I could only explain as weird snake-like eyes
Oh my god, it's
that
cool.
feel off-putting, and it's creepy.
You
And
have to admit it's creepy.
yeah, this actor, I feel like
Yeah,
I'm going
who
to pronounce
is
his
he?
name wrong. Christopher Neme, as I say it, Neame.
Oh, okay.
Does that sound good?
Enough to me.
All right. Christopher Neme, he's playing Lockley in this film, or AKA the demon, the Satan's disciple, apparently.
Oh, isn't his name Prositano?
What?
Isn't his name Prositano?
Is that a thing?
I think he calls himself Prositano. It
Oh,
means
in
like
the
the helper, this like Satan's helper, basically.
Is that right?
I read it. It does.
Prosopano?
Prositano.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Prositano.
Isn't that the thing that you pull out to see if Groundhog's Day, if it's going to be seeing a shadow or not?
Punxsutawney Phil, you damn fool.
I don't recall that, but is it important?
I mean, yes, because they say it a lot.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I think, hold on, am I saying it right? Yes, Prositano.
I think that's the one he throws out the window in a couple minutes. Isn't that a Prositano?
I can't with you. Anyway, they
Anyways,
say it a lot in the movie.
Like I said, the devil's disciple.
Yeah, devil's disciple. Yes.
So that's this guy, and he's going to do the sacrifice, and they have to get to him in time. And they do. They get there, and now they're able to like shoot arrows at him to stop him from stabbing the baby. Mm-hmm. And he's got this crazy bedazzled Michaels bought knife.
I could make that.
That's what I'm saying. It was just like glitter. It was
like
basically like
papier-mâché.
yeah, they took a cone, they took some aluminum foil, and they sprayed it, and then they slapped bejeweled, like bedazzled it.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to use to stab the baby, and they shoot him in the arrow, and that actually stops him.
They shoot him in the arrow?
I said they shoot him with an arrow, didn't I?
Nope.
Whatever, Joe.
In the arrow.
God.
What body part is that?
Prosciutto? What's his name? Prosciutto?
Prosciutto?
Prosciutto? Anyways, they shoot him with an arrow, and for some reason that stops him. Why does it stop him? I don't get it.
Nobody knows.
I don't get it. And they're hidden behind like a cell door, and they open it somehow, and they get in there, and they're able to save the baby. And then as we're seeing him more demonic. There's also they get a whole bunch of demon people, other people that kind of look like, think Spaceballs, think of the funny Jawa looking people.
Oh, ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding,
those
ding,
guys,
ding,
but they're
ding.
tall, like more human size, like more normal size people.
Uh-huh.
They jump out, and now we see that they're demons. So demons, full demonic monster people.
So
are okay.
He's like a disciple of Satan himself.
So that means
He
in
has
this world,
disciples.
they have actual demons. They're
Yeah.
fighting them.
Okay.
Okay, and when they're killing them, we see their like monster faces and their hands and stuff onto these robes.
I mean, it's cool.
And then luckily, before he could do whatever he's going to do, because he has powers, he's a demon, the only thing that seems to stop him is that somebody grabs him from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my first thought was, oh my God, is this monk Chuck Norris?
Okay, I know you thought that at first.
At first
'cause you
I
were
did. I
like,
went,
"Oh my
"Whoa."
God, Joe!" And I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I don't see it."
I thought it
but
was Chuck Norris at first.
That's when we were watching it really blurry, and
Yeah.
I couldn't see shit as it was.
I was like, oh my God, Chuck Norris is going to be a monk?
It could have
Is
literally
he
been
gonna be
anyone.
I thought he was going to be like a Highlander. I'm like, oh, this whole movie's going to be him throughout time fighting this guy?
Oh no, we're not gonna take another one of those like fantasy. Chuck Norris comes back from the dead, he's centuries old, all that stuff.
I thought that's what we had here.
because we had one last time.
Because I was like, how did this guy, he's just holding the demon down, and they shove him into this stone coffin.
It's like a tomb.
The altar that he was going to sacrifice on. They shove him in it, and they trap it. The guy's like kind of doing a chant, but they put the weapon on top. And for some reason, King Richard's like, is this the thing that he could use for power? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, well, fuck that shit. And so he just starts cutting it.
King Richard doesn't say fuck that shit.
He says, fuck your couch. And he just starts hitting it. But then the monk, he's freaking out. He doesn't want him to do that. But I'm like,
but that's a
what
good
is this?
idea. It's a good idea, though, because, like, heaven forbid.
Yeah,
so
why didn't he want him to do it
if
then?
he ever gets out of the tomb, so the tomb is being held, like, bound, I guess, by,
Oh, I see what you... Okay.
oh,
Clever title usage.
Bound.
Why didn't they yell that?
Well,
Let you be hellbound. And we could have went on title. The title could have shot up.
no, but they put these gold crucifixes in each end of the tomb to keep him held there.
Okay.
And so that's how he's stuck in the tomb, so he can't get out. And then King Richard decides that it's better if they crush this staff that he was using, the demon, because if they scatter the parts all about, like in different parts of the world,
Yes.
it'll be, heaven forbid he ever gets out, it'll be harder for him to find it.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
So why was that monk trying to stop him from doing that?
I thought it was like a Lord of the Rings scenario where he was kind of like,
Cast it under the
yeah,
fire.
we can use the power ourselves.
Yeah.
But then King Richard's like, no, go to hell, with the whole thing. And
Yeah.
he was like, we need to bury this place and guard it forever so he can never get out.
Yeah, okay, so they sealed everything. He said seal all the entrances. Fine, okay. So that was, what was it, 1781 BC?
I gotta point this out to you. This movie was originally called Cold to Touch.
Cold to touch?
Yeah.
It sounds like some, 1970s porno.
I know, it sounds like an episode of a Batman animated series where, Mr. Freeze is the villain.
Oh, no, like a soap opera from the 70s.
Yeah, Cold to Touch. Chuck
About a
Norris is
shrew.
Cold to Touch.
Yeah, a shrew who cheats on her husband.
What a weird name, right? Because, when you said Hellbound, which they should have yelled here.
Yeah.
And I love that every time I had to search for this movie to look up any information, I kept getting Hellraiser 2.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh yeah, better movie.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
But yeah, Hellbound, Cold to Touch. And I was like, they made a great choice on switching the name. When I saw that information, I was really worried about this film not having anything to do with this hell aspect. But I was pleasantly surprised when we did have a demon. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But you're right. They lock him in there and they seal it off. And we jump to 1954.
No, so it's 1951. And then we see, I don't know where we are at this point. I guess they find the tomb. But
It has to be Jerusalem.
I mean, I guess it does. But
Because of the end of the movie.
The
We're
way
back to
they're
it.
dressed does not indicate that. But I guess you're right, it is.
Yeah.
So it's 1951 and two men blast a hole through the rock and find the tomb. And of course they're all like, oh, look at these beautiful crucifixes. There's jewels. We're going to be rich. We're going to be rich. And they take the only thing holding this demon in the tomb. They take out the freaking crucifixes. So of course someone has to unleash the evil. So they get killed. And it unleashes the demon.
One of the gore sequences is that he shoves his arm through the bodies of this people.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They do show gore, so it's kind of neat. It's rated R, this movie. But then after we see all that, they fast track to what they call just present day.
1994.
Now, this is clearly 1985. It has all the feels of 1985. The vehicles, the way they dress.
I don't think so, because I think he dresses more 90 with the jacket and the tucked in black shirt underneath the jacket. It feels very 90s.
Crockett and Tubbs used to wear that shit.
I guess that's true too.
And yes, I'm dating myself. That's Miami Vice for all of you kids that were born in 1998.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing we see is these two cops, and they're going to shoot someone in the face. I guess they're playing good cop, bad cop, but we're introduced to our partners, which is Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris is playing one of the best named characters ever for him, Frank Shatter. Frank Shatter.
He sounds like a freaking enforcer for the mob.
Lieutenant Shatter. Yeah.
Frank Shatter. Like, I'm
Frank
going to
Shatter.
shatter your kneecaps.
So crazy. But he's also got a sidekick named Jackson, right? And he's played by Calvin Levels is the actor's name.
Do we know him?
Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Is he the thief that helps them? No way.
Yeah, he's one of the main people.
Oh my god. That's so cool.
I'm shocked you didn't point it out. Now, I would say that this is around that 90s, 80s time where you always took an action star and teamed him up with somebody that is extremely comic relief.
Yeah.
To the point where any actor, any comedian, any up-and-coming comedian got a gig because they just teamed up with an action star.
Well, I have to say this. This is the worst cop. I mean, he's the worst.
Oh, terrible.
He gets bitch slapped. I can't tell you how many times.
We should make a montage and put it up online of all the times he gets punched.
I mean, he gets his ass whooped. I mean, he's the worst cop. You do not get cop coming off of him at all. Like, what you do get is, like you said, maybe he's a stand-up comedian. And he's not even that funny, to be honest with you. But, like...
I know that I've seen people, because he's very loud. When I was researching the movie, I saw, like, when this movie came out, I saw reviews from critics. Mm-hmm. And they were like, if you turn the sound off every time he's on screen, it's a okay movie. But I would disagree. I actually think he's kind of funny.
Either this guy is nuttier than a Snickers, or there's some real heavy shit going down.
I mean, he does have funny moments, but, like, when he's getting slapped around, it's hysterical, and that's not intentional for him.
We laughed at him.
Yeah.
Like, as a part of the joke. And I think we laughed at him more than we should have.
We weren't supposed to be laughing.
I think we were supposed to like him, but we even there's even a part in the movie where he says, you know, I thought we were friends. And Chuck Norris is like, why do you think I work with you? Like, literally nobody wants to work with this guy. The chief of police doesn't even like him.
No, he doesn't really bring much to the table as far as, like, I mean, when you think a cop, like, you kind of have some badassery going on a little bit, and then you're paired with Chuck fucking Norris, and you can't even slap a man.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're literally completely defenseless. This is that man. This is that character. He's not a very tough guy. He's not tough at all. He's just there. It's weird.
He's like more Robin, the boy wonder, who keeps getting into messes, and then Batman comes in and kicks their ass. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Like setting up the punch.
Yeah.
Almost like a human shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's a shame, but the first thing we see them playing good cop, bad cop, and Chuck Norris is just being Chuck Norris. I mean,
he's
that's
always just Chuck Norris, though.
And they are scaring some guy to get some information. They get it. They laugh about it, whatever. But then we cut to where this movie, we really gave a crap because we couldn't stop laughing at this kind of stuff. And it has everything to do with the villain. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out the villain is in some kind of hotel. And he's having, I guess he has a woman of the night with him.
Well, we know that she's a woman of the night. She clearly says it.
Yeah.
But this is like the seediest, grossest motel ever.
Yeah. This woman, we couldn't stop laughing. Everything about what she says, every line of dialogue, like the dubbing, everything was so off that we were laughing our asses off at her. And I looked her up. Her name was, unfortunately she's not with us anymore, but Zoe Trilling. She was in Dr. Giggles, Night of the Demon 2, and Leprechaun 3. She was playing the blackjack dealer in that movie.
Oh,
but we did that on the show.
Yeah.
So she shows up and she just, every time she spoke, we laughed.
Hey, I know this lady. She's really great. She could help you. I mean, she's not in my line of work or anything, but... Hey, are you listening to me?
Ball was brought back in.
Oh, whatever.
Check this out up the court real fast here. We've already got a run. This pace is just incredible off the top of the game. And
Hey, man, that was the playoffs. You know, the playoffs. Ain't you no sports fan either? Is it all right if I take a shower?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Also, just to give a little bit of props to her as, like, you know, a character, I think she was way too high end to be a freaking prostitute. I mean,
agree.
if nothing else, she could have been like a real, like, you know, high price escort.
You know what was funny? The first thing I said, because when we stopped right here, because we were watching it with the blur version. So this is where we stopped it and rented it, because at first I went, who is this? Do we know her? It sounds like Brittany Murphy.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was Brittany Murphy when she played in Sin City.
Yeah.
When she was like,
And they cut your little pecker off.
Yeah, the whole thing. And I was like, it seems like her, but I know it's not her. You can
Right.
tell the body, like it's totally. So I wonder if we know who this is. So we went back and rewatched some of the scene. And nope, we didn't recognize her. But
No, but we were wondering if
You're
she
right
was
about the high
completely.
price.
I mean, she had a great body.
Yeah.
She was pretty. Just she didn't look like some crackhead prostitute that would be in a seedy, $1 an hour motel.
Exactly.
Sure you don't want to join me? For 50, we can do it again in the shower.
And she's like trying to talk to the guy that she's with through the bathroom door, and he is just putting water on his face in a steam bathroom.
Well, you know who it is.
And you see his fingernails are long and jagged. And this guy, he is very creepy.
Let me
Like
ask you
just an
something.
off-putting looking gentleman.
If you have sex with a demon,
Yeah, I know, right? I was thinking
what
about all
if
this.
he okay? I don't see him as the type to use protection.
I don't see him even having to do this.
No, what if he impregnates her and then they have like a little demon, like Damien Thorne? I'm just saying. I mean, there's
Yeah,
some questions I have about this situation.
Yeah, we would have to call in Constantine. I have no idea, because I was thinking about this too. I was like, why does the devil even have to do this? Like get a shady hotel room with a worker. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why would he even have to
worker?
do this? A woman of the night. I'm trying to be very
Shia-hoa.
PC.
You be PC, I'll say hua.
Well, this is so PC because I love this whole sequence, because he comes out of the bathroom and then he's extremely off-putting, and she's like, okay, now it's my turn to use the bathroom. So she went into the bathroom, and these two guys show up, and they have a plan to kill him, because the one guy named Schindler knows that he is a demon.
His name's Schindler?
They say a lot.
I
Joe.
thought they say
They
Shiner.
go, do you know anything about Schindler?
I think that
And I kept going, I hope so.
I don't think it's no, I think it's Shiner.
Well, we're going to put all the clips of them saying it in right now.
This is Mr. Schindler.
Like that with Rabbi Schindler.
Huh? Who was in the room with you and Rabbi Schindler?
His name, Mordecai Schindler.
Does the name Schindler mean anything to you?
The Rabbi Schindler is dead.
So he comes in there, and another guy, and
It's Krieger.
Krieger's the other dude that gave him the knife, Joe.
Mr. Krieger. Reinhard Krieger. Lockley Krieger.
No. What about Krieger? Reinhard Krieger?
Your name was found on Krieger's card, Adam.
Yes, Krieger telephoned me.
Then you never met Krieger.
In that room, Krieger.
You heard her, Krieger.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're going down, Krieger. Out!
You're going to jail, Krieger.
It's all over, Krieger.
Krieger.
You disappoint me greatly, Mr. Krieger.
Oh.
Schindler and Krieger. I was just going to say that.
Oh yeah, there is a Schindler. You're right. Rabbi Schindler. I'll see myself out.
He has a list. Hey, so I guess this one guy has given him this knife to take him out. So when he goes in the room, in the hotel room, he stabs him with this knife. It's the same knife from the opening. It's back together.
Yeah.
And when he stabs him, this guy does the whole spiel of dying. Like a vampire. Got stabbed in the heart, and he dies on the bed. And he's like, I knew it. I finally was looking for you forever. I was planning to kill you, and I finally accomplished my goal. And the guy's faking it. So he jumps off, he says, this is a fake, the knife that you stabbed me with, and you can't kill me with it because it's a fake knife.
It's
And
not the sacrificial dagger.
Yeah, it's a copy. Mm-hmm. And so he takes it out, and he rips out this dude's heart.
Yeah, but when we first see his eyes are like so freaking awesome. I love his eyes in this. They're like, I don't know, how do you explain it?
It just looks like they're sliming off. I thought it was CG for a minute, but I guess it's just some kind of context.
No, I
it
think
looks
it's
so
like,
weird.
Yeah, it was context. It looks like his eyes are melting like out of his head.
They feel like they're melting.
It's really cool. It's a really cool
It
contact.
just looks off-putting. It's something about it seems really surreal.
Everything about him looks off-putting. Like they really did go out of their way to make this guy look like a demon. He just looks like...
Yeah, I'm surprised I don't know him from a lot of other things. He's in some movies that we've seen, but nothing that was standing out to me.
Yeah.
But the girl comes out of the bathroom and sees the dead guy having his heart ripped out. And now this is one of the funniest things. This movie in sound effects. He throws her out of a window. But when she hits the window, it goes off like a shotgun.
Time for you to leave.
It does. There was a shotgun sound. But I have a question here. Why would he feel the need to just toss this girl out the window?
Oh my god, that is this movie in a nutshell. This demon is the dumbest fuck on the earth.
He could have just walked out the door and been like, peace out,
He could have just shredded them in the room and left the room and no one would know anything. Instead, he throws out of the window, perfectly lands on Chuck Norris's car.
Now, mind you, this is a film flub because they were already getting in the car and about to drive away when that girl hit the car.
Yes.
So what are you doing? You waiting around for your cue? Like
exactly.
It was a little bit silly.
What are the odds? And why is the devil or a demon? Why is he hanging out in Chicago?
They have a good nightlife.
I don't understand it.
They got good pizza.
I guess he wanted some good beef or something.
They got good
Who knows?
pizza.
Who knows? And I guess it's for the high class hookers. Or, I'm sorry, winner of the night. Now we jump forward. Like they this is when they go search the room. They're already in the room. Chuck Norris is in the room, and the guy's standing in the shadows, and he tells him,
"Step out into the light.
Leave now, and I'll let you live."
You're all hard, buddy.
Speaking of hearts.
And he goes, "Here you go," and he throws the guy's heart at him. That's how it goes.
So cheesy.
And so all of this is happening now. I can't stand this in action films when the lights are out. There's no lighting, and all you have is like a crackle of light coming through the window to see what's going on. I'm here for Chuck Norris's fight scenes.
Yeah.
And if I can't see Chuck Norris's fight scenes, I'm not a happy person. I like this, the whole purpose of him being in these movies is because of that. So I couldn't really see. They were just tussling in the dark.
Yeah, and I love there's a common theme in this movie. Every time some of these guys see a dead body, they react like, what man would have done this? Who could have killed this man in this manner?
You're supposed to be police detectives. Have you ever seen?
They've never seen a brutal killing or anything.
You're in Chicago.
I know.
And you've never seen any crime.
And they always say no human being could have done something like that. No human being could stack books like this.
Stop it.
I don't know. He gets away, and what's funny is I guess that we see them investigate. They go back to the police station, and the first thing that we see in the police station with the police chief, which is a woman who just is always behind this desk in this whole movie, she just yells at Jackson. She just basically, "I hate you. Get out of this room." That's literally, this guy is the worst cop because everybody just cares about Chuck Norris.
Right.
And what's really crazy is that we cut. Now, the villain, he just time travels. Like, he's just everywhere. I don't really understand this character because the next thing we see is that he has traveled to Italy to kill a priest on a train. Because
he thinks that priest has...
He does. He has a part of it.
Part of the scepter or whatever. It's like a... But it's a fake, so he doesn't really have it. But here's the thing about this villain is that number one, why are you in Chicago when you resurrected in Israel? What is Chicago? Why are you going there?
It's been many years. He's been doing, because at the same time he's also pretending to be an archaeologist.
That's true.
He's doing that part-time apparently.
Well, because he's looking for the artifact
he has an entire operation going.
Yeah, he's got like a whole... So apparently this guy has well established himself since 1781 BC?
Well, no, 1950s, and that's when he's got released.
And then 1951 is when he got released. So yeah, from 1951 he's had all this time to set up a life. But For some reason, the whole purpose of his journey is to gather these shards of this scepter. Is it a scepter or is it a knife?
Oh, who cares? It's just a knife. Let's just say it's a golden knife of some sort.
And he needs that to, what, bring about hell on earth?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess they need there's like a whole there's like a whole incantation that you do. You have to get the blood of a prince or a princess or royal blood, and then you have to do the sacrifice and do a chant, and it has to be done by this demon and this knife apparently, and it'll bring about hell on earth. I guess.
Okay. So there's the whole reasoning of the plot.
That's the plot we need to stop. But the funniest part is the globe trotting that now happens because Chuck Norris goes, we have to go to Israel.
Okay, but here's the thing. Why? So what happens is the priest was killed and they're taking his body.
It's another throw out of a window kill, by the way.
Yeah.
And this time, instead of a shotgun, it's an electricity blast of some sort.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
The sound department's having an issue.
This whole movie. Yeah.
The sound department is definitely having an issue. But so now they're escorting this body of this priest back to Israel. I'm sorry, I keep saying priest. I mean rabbi. The rabbi, he's a rabbi. He's being, they're taking his body back to Israel. And I guess Jackson has that artifact. It's a fake artifact.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I'm
what am
so
I talking
confused.
about?
What is the body going back to Israel? What is that?
Yeah, it says that there are two Chicago police detectives sent to investigate the brutal murder of a rabbi. And as the investigation begins, Shatter and Jackson are summoned to Israel.
You got to back up. Yeah, the guy, Schindler, was the rabbi. He got killed in the hotel room.
Yes, they're taking his body back. He's the body that they're accompanying back to Israel.
When does that happen?
Oh, wait a minute. If this is the bad news, then what the hell is the good news?
The Israeli police want to question us.
Oh, okay, sure. So where are they?
In Israel. We leave in 4 hours.
Say what?
We're also escorting the rabbi back.
Wait, Shatter. Hey. You were in the room when the shit hit the fan. I mean, I didn't see anything. I mean, why in the hell do I have to go? Why can't I just tell you everything that I know and then you can tell them, huh?
How could I possibly leave without you? You're my partner, man.
Fun fact, I'm wrong. They're on the trail of the killer of this guy in this hotel room. And he links it back to Israel. And this guy, he finds this guy's card.
That's right, the card.
Yeah, the card, which is laminated on one of those pieces of tape that you rip off and you put it on your chest when it says, hello, my name is. You can see the clear laminate, the thing that rips off.
It doesn't even matter. Who gives a rat's ass why they're going to Israel? The fun part is that these two fools are going to Israel.
The fact
they're
that
the worst
Chuck
cops.
Norris and Jackson are like, we're going to Israel to track this killer.
But they're not even
and the Chicago police is like, you know what? That's a good idea for our taxpayer money.
Right. They're not Interpol. They're not CIA. They're not
even
FBI.
contacting them.
They are literally almost beat cops. What the fuck is it? Why are they sending them?
It's Chuck Norris he's on a hunch.
Oh my God.
I don't understand it. And when they get there, they get interrogated we only see one cop and they have an interrogation sequence with them and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't matter. So they just go and they find this guy, Kruger, whatever the hell his name is. And they find him and he's an artifact dealer. And so he has all kinds of satanic looking artifacts in a back room somewhere. And it says it's his house. And he's the one that gave Schindler the knife.
Yes.
So they link it back to him. So they go and interrogate him.
Right.
In the meantime, in Israel, they also get robbed by a little child. And they befriend a little child in this movie.
Which has no relevance in this movie whatsoever.
Only
They're
because the
throwing
little
this
child,
kid in.
he's exposition. He can help them get to a location later on in the movie. So they set that up. But they also find another archaeologist. who's
Yeah.
a doctor in Chicago. One of the people they have interviewed trying to figure out who this guy is, the Lockley or whatever his name is, the demon. They go to her and they find her in Chicago. It just so happens that she's also in Chicago teaching classes.
No, she's in Israel teaching classes.
No. They find her in Chicago. They talk to her in Chicago. And when they go to Israel, she's there.
Yeah, that's right. She's in Israel.
And they're like, wow, what are the odds? You're here too. And we kept
crazy.
saying that. What are the odds?
Well, obviously, we know she's thrown in there for, reasons other than just Chuck Norris eyeballing her. Because you know that Chuck Norris and she are going to have some kind of tryst.
Yeah. Oh, they have like chemistry at the moment because they look at each other.
I know.
That's
They're
it.
just, and she smiles at him. It's like,
That's it.
It's like, just come on already. Don't throw a freaking romance in here because all I want to see is carnage. I don't want any romance right now.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even care if Jackson got killed. He was annoying.
Wow, poor Jackson.
Well, fuck him. He gets slapped around like a
Mr.
bitch.
Jackson, if you're nasty.
He gets slapped around like a bitch.
He does. So again, in Israel, everything starts piecing together. They find at the dig site, they find that woman from Chicago's here. And she is working
with Lockley,
the
demon.
Who is the demon, we know. And he is coming off like a huge asshole. But he's pretending to be an archaeologist. Although we just saw him in Italy. We just saw him in Chicago. The guy is everywhere. He even
travels by map.
He even goes and gets revenge on the guy who sold the fake knife.
Yes. Yeah, he kills him.
He kills him. And they both, of course, because no one else is ever in the city in Israel. No cops. Nobody works here. They go and they find that guy's dead body. And again, they go, who could have done this? What kind of person could do something like this? Now, by the way, all Lockley did was pick him up in a shadow and Bane drop him.
That's it.
And that's it. And he is just like impaled on a horn of a sculpture.
Yeah, it was like a sculpture. Like, come on, I know you're a cop. You've seen worse than this.
They even go in this guy. They break in this guy's house, and then they don't see him straight ahead, dead on the floor. And they're looking around. And they're like, "Oh, look! I found a dead body. Who could have done this? No human could have done this."
Well, he's not human.
Yeah. Oh
he's
my god!
The devil.
I was like, "What do you mean no human could have dropped someone onto a spike?" Like,
this is like so. This movie at this point is so off-putting because it's like, okay, Chuck Norris, who's a martial artist. You would think that number one, he would have a buddy that is also a martial artist and they just kick ass together. Okay, that would make some sense. But this is like a kind of like next level paranormal / martial artist movie. And it
not really.
It doesn't really, I mean.
When you say martial arts and Chuck Norris, I kind of always want to fight about it because I feel like I don't see that in his movies. I just see a guy who's mad. He just like grunts at somebody and then just does a kick. And it's like, that's it.
He's always kicking.
Yeah, it's not like The Raid or it's not like Tony Jaa where it's like this is all set up. Like they are doing all these crazy stunts to Jackie Chan.
I mean, I suppose
Donnie
you're right.
Yen.
It's not stunt work. It's just like slapping people
It's a lot
around.
of slapping, a lot of multi-cuts and stepping side by side and doing one little jab.
I know.
It's like I like looking at him punching people, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's much going on in it.
Yeah, like it's just weird
It
to
feels
have
hollow.
these two worlds going on at the same time. Like, a cop and a demon. Like, I don't know. It was just weird. It was a weird plot.
I guess I should have pointed this out, but before Lockley kills that guy that sold the fake knife, he actually goes and sets up some goons to go beat up Chuck Norris while he bitch slaps Jackson out with one slap.
Okay,
he knocks his ass out.
You have to put that online.
Yeah.
You have to.
He punches him. This skinny guy knocks out Jackson somehow, and he leaves Chuck Norris to fight like two goons, which is a lot of flashing. It's just a thunderstorm suddenly, and it's just a flashing in the storm. You see him punching and kicking people.
Yeah.
And the guy gets the fake knife, and he's going to give it to Lockley. He's like, look, I know I messed up, but I got the knife back. And he's like, it's a fake. And he kills him. That's when he kills him. And they find his dead body. And then they're like, Lockley's card is in that guy's place. So they go and find him with that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they slowly start piecing stuff together. And the way that they figure out this stuff is crazy. Chuck Norris just says, we're just breaking to the police station.
Okay. Now,
nobody works at night.
Nobody works at the police station at night. It was completely closed, as if it was a department store.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like this, what happens if somebody calls the police at 1 a.m.?
I don't think.
Like,
I mean,
what-
it's Israel. Who knows how it works? But
What if there's a fire and the police need to come? Or like, what if there's
don't they
something,
have
a murder?
I
Nobody works. They're all in bed.
I don't know how it works in other countries, but that just seemed really funny. And what I love is that they go break into the chief of Israel police, and they break into his office, and Chuck Norris lets Jackson get seen by this guy walking in. A police officer just walks in all of a sudden when it's a closed place.
Right. There's nobody there. It's pitch black inside, and he walks in.
And Jackson's like, oh, and Chuck Norris chokes this guy out. And I kept going. And then Jackson takes his gun.
The best part about this is that they forget that they're on the same side. Like, they're all police officers. And so he takes this guy's gun. What is the reasoning? If there's a demon,
They choked him out.
You can't kill a fucking demon with a gun.
And I was like, exactly. Well, I don't think they understand the demon side of this thing, but they just keep seeing the dead bodies that he's killed, and they're like, it can't be human. That's it. But what I was laughing at is the guy he chokes out clearly sees Jackson.
Yeah.
He can identify the one guy that looks like Jackson that's in town. They just
What are you talking about? Everybody has that haircut?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has that haircut, looks like an American in wearing 3 layers of clothing in Israel, and hanging out with a dude in a sports jacket in Israel.
God. Oh my God. He does look like Sonny Crockett with the freaking floor. Like, he had like a Hawaiian shirt on.
I kept laughing about it. I was like, a redhead and a redhead in a sports jacket isn't going to stand out in Israel. Like, everything was making me laugh. But they choked this guy out and took his gun. I'm like, there's no way they can get away with this now.
Right.
And it doesn't ever come back.
Nope.
It doesn't come back. In fact, the kid that stole his wallet is able to tell them where they're going. They actually are looking at the files, and when they look at the files, they kind of Chuck Norris just starts piecing things together, and he's like, you know what? That scroll said that it needed to be a
royal person.
Royal blood needs to be used.
And then
they call the girl, and he's like, oh, he's there? And no, he's not there. Wait, can you look through his planner? That he's written a planner for the last 8 years. Can you tell me everything he did in the last 8 years? And she's reading it like it's normal.
Well, because demons are really known for keeping a nice detailed log of where they've been.
A demon has a planner and gets prostitutes in Chicago. What is happening? Okay. So she reads off the whole thing, and he's like, and she goes, why would, oh, and by the way, now that I gave all of my boss's information to you, like that's normal.
Right.
Should I be worried about something? Oh yeah, I think he's a murderer.
Yeah. And you should have started with that.
Yeah.
Like, maybe get away.
And she's
get
like,
away from that site.
And here's what I love even more. To make this demon seem even funnier, she goes, I trust him. He's my friend.
Oh,
so he friended her for years.
Yeah.
This is all part of his catfishing?
I guess, but here's the thing. He needed that dagger in order to perform the ritual on her anyway. And so he's using her to plot her own death.
Yeah, he's been using her and friending her just so he can stab her later on and get her blood.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that the twist is she is of royal blood.
Yeah, she's the daughter of a
princess.
Dane. So she is a princess, and
that's hilarious.
Chuck Norris finds that out by going to her house and like looking at her photos.
Well, no, she finds a photo of her on this thing, and I don't know where it is, but it's like in the photo. She's with all these people. Looks like kings and queens or whatever, and then they call, and some secretary picks up. I don't know who she is, and then they go, "Is she there?" Oh, no, she's not here. Well, let me ask you a question. You know, I just saw a picture and she's in that makes her look like royalty. Oh, yeah. And then the secretary has all the information. Oh, yeah, she's royalty. And you didn't know that? Everybody knows that.
I'm going to give you all the information.
Yeah. She's also type A. I don't know. She's a Gemini. So, oh my God, she's royal blood. We have to go save her. Well, right at that moment when she hung up the phone, he's standing right behind her and he goes, oh, so I guess he found out that I'm a murderer? And she's like, what?
Now's a good time to reveal this to you.
So naturally, you're coming with me,
and I'm going
he brings
to
her
kill
to the
you.
altar, and perfectly, and he's like, "Well, we're going to go do a ritual now."
Everything was set up to the minute,
and he keeps, and this is what really pisses me off. He could just end all of these characters so quickly, and he just doesn't.
I know.
He's like, "Oh, did Chuck Norris find out that I'm a murderer and I'm a monster?"
Well, he kept all this in his
cool.
appointment book.
Yeah.
Minute by minute playback.
Yeah, I decided not to kill him, but I killed the guy who gave me a fake knife.
Yeah.
So why would he kill him and not Chuck Norris?
Because Chuck Norris can punch hard.
Because movie.
Don't you get it?
Yeah, he can punch hard. You know what? He does punch too
He's
hard.
an
I'm going to let
angry
him go.
Ginger.
Yeah. Although I have superpowers and I can time travel and I can jump all over the map and I've set up multiple locations and I have minions, I'm just going to not go near Chuck Norris.
Yeah, and I have
scares
crazy eyeballs and my head is huge, like a freaking torpedo. And, I'm scared of Chuck Norris, though.
Chuck Norris is the bane of my
With
existence.
his tight jeans.
Yeah, so he goes to Jerusalem and he sets up the whole altar killing. But wouldn't you know it? At the same time, Chuck Norris talks to the little kid that steals wallets, and he's like, "I know where that is."
So the little kid
brings them there.
Has no idea, he has no money. He steals from people. He lives in squalor, and
we don't know.
He knows where the sacrificial altar is.
He knows exactly. Oh, there is a weird location where the really bizarre monk that never comes out of his house, but he's super creepy and blind. And you know what? He has a piece of that thing that you might need.
But
so
he says
there.
it's far away. So they have to get in the car and drive. So he takes this child, and his parents don't even know he's gone.
If he has parents, we don't even know.
We don't even know. And so they take this kid into the face of danger.
Yes. And leave him outside where they go talk to a monk who, by the way, this monk is hilarious. He's blind, so the actor's eyes are really wide, so he always looks like he's in shock when they're talking to him.
Yes.
But it gets funnier because he does have a part of the sword, of this knife.
Yes, he does.
He actually has the main piece that he needed. And they get there and they talk to him, and he's basically like, "I don't have it, I don't know what you're talking about," kind of a thing. And you need to leave. And then he goes, "Leave, leave, leave." Like he says it so many times.
I thought he was going to start singing.
That's how it sounded. At one time he gets high pitch at the very end of
Yeah.
it. Like he just changes voices. It sounds so silly. And he goes off down to his dungeon and he has a big chest. And the chest opens up and there's a piece of the knife comes out. And wouldn't you know it? The villain is standing right behind him. And it has the most awkward thing where you hear what sounds like he punched a hole through the guy because the guy just dies. But the Satan guy, the demon, he has a face of shock. And then he has a face of happiness. And then you heard the swat. And then the next thing you hear is him screaming outside. I'm like, wait a minute, he's already dead.
Yeah, I don't.
How's he screaming?
Yeah.
Pretty, isn't it?
Hey, Frank, I can't deal with this devil shit. Hey, how about we go back to Chicago and play good cop, bad cop with our pimps and hookers? Huh?
But again, this goes to the demon going, you know what? I need to alert Chuck Norris as much as possible.
Yeah, you think he's a demon, which means he's a bad guy, but he was very helpful. He guided the police to him many times.
Many times. And
Yeah.
or is Chuck Norris luring him to the knife?
No, Chuck Norris wasn't doing any such thing.
Because every time Chuck Norris finds out something, this guy goes, "Oh, that's where I needed to
Well,
go."
that would imply that that Chuck Norris knew that the girl was going to be taken. He didn't. He only found out at the last minute that she was the daughter of a Dane.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're giving this too much credit.
So now they know I have all the pieces. I have the girl. I'm going to do the sacrifice. And I'm going to give Chuck Norris enough time to get to the altar in time before I do everything and rescue her.
Yep.
And which is what we get now. We get an entire set piece of them getting to the altar area, trying to save her, where...
And Jackson gets thrown through the air no less than 6 times.
Yeah. Gets chucked.
Yeah. I see what you did.
But Chuck Norris, on the other hand, nothing.
No, he's fine.
He in fact, now he takes a couple times, the monster guy takes Jackson and chucks him like Superman would throw somebody.
Yeah, and he hits like the stone wall.
Oh yeah, but every time
Like-
Chuck Norris kicks him, he acts like it's like, oh my god, like he is dying.
Yeah, like he has a super kick.
It's like Chuck Norris can't be touched, and anything Chuck Norris does to the demon hurts him like he's made out of holy water.
Does he have a clause in his contract that he can't get hurt?
I'm
just
sure,
like the Rock
just like the
and
Rock
rest of
and
them?
Vin Diesel. If I had to guess, yes.
Like, don't make me look like a puss.
Yeah.
I have to be strong at all times.
We got to remember his brother also filmed this movie, so it makes sense that they had to make him look as cool as possible.
Yeah, but he didn't get hurt in Action USA either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like there is no. That's what makes this suck. You know, that's what I'm talking about. With these movies with Chuck Norris, that's why I wanted to revisit more of his movies. If your heroes don't get hurt, it's hard to be on their side. You need to see flaw. You know,
Right.
There's no flaw. There's no reason
There
for
has
it.
to be consequences. Like, come on. Like, this is a demon. This is not just some freaking, crackhead off the street. This is a demon that's fucking you up.
I mean, at one point, more of he keeps vanishing and flying. At one point, he flies down from the ceiling like
he
Dracula.
flies. It's crazy.
And his demon guys come out of nowhere.
Well, that would
Where were they the
explain
whole movie?
why he's in Italy and then he's back in,
That he can fly.
Yeah, because he can freaking fly.
Yeah, you would think so, but then you would also have to question, why isn't he doing more things? Like, why isn't he using his power more often?
Right, and I feel like if he has power like that, he could take over the world without the sacrificial dagger.
Yeah, why does he even need it?
Right, why?
Like,
Why?
at this for Satan? At this
doesn't
point, you
make
think
any
he would
sense.
just rule.
Yeah. 'cause
Instead,
he
he's
could do
buying
anything.
like high price Chicago prostitutes. Like, that's what he's doing with his time.
She's a woman of the night, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he could have figured out this dagger thing quicker, after all these years.
Yeah.
But whatever. So even those little demons show up, and Chuck Norris is kicking their asses too. So Chuck Norris is just roundhouse kicking like 5 demon guys while Jackson getting his ass beat. And then
Yeah.
they finally...
He doesn't even break a sweat.
The Dane is like, she's like, the girl is like tied up on the altar, and then she's like she knows the whole spell, the whole thing. Like there's like a whole scripture that she's reading out loud to herself, and she's remembering, oh my god, it's all true, the demon, this and this and this. Oh, it's the knife. The knife is the only thing that can kill him.
Right. So this knife is now forged back together.
Somehow forged back together.
Okay.
But can we just say how anticlimactic this film is? Like, it's just so dull. He just kicks it.
So Chuck Norris, you would think, is going to have some major struggle, and then at the end, he's going to, finally impale the demon after, he gets fucked up a bit and they tussle a bit or anything. No, he literally just kicks the spear,
Into him.
the dagger into him,
And perfectly.
perfectly right into his mid torso, and we're done.
And that's it. And I was like, no one-liner.
No.
No, like, go to hell.
He has
Something
no
fun.
dialogue that's even worth a damn in this.
Nothing.
Like, there's nothing. I mean, the only funny thing that we even got was Jackson getting tossed around, And that wasn't even enough to, satisfy me. I wanted more. Like, if you're going to throw a comic relief in there,
Well, that's
make
why
it
that's why
funny.
you throw comic relief in it. This is why people like Arnold, although had a lot of movies with comic relief characters,
Yeah.
he's funny on his own.
Right.
He brings something to it. He brings a little charm to it.
Right.
Where guys like other guys, you go, oh, he needs comic relief put with him. Like
Yeah.
when Arnold started out, he, the English wasn't great, so it made sense he wasn't there yet with the comedy.
Right.
So they put him with like weird people, like in Raw Deal. They teamed him up with somebody, and you would think that over time that it changed where he didn't need that, but the comic relief kind of went with him, and he was doing one-liners and he was making it fun. Same thing with Stallone. Stallone like knew to make jokes and also was hurt in his movies. He got hurt, all of his characters.
Oh, he got fucked up. Yeah.
Like Bruce Willis was both. He was the comic relief and the superhero.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's fun. But Chuck Norris, you're like, no, this is a guy who needs comic relief.
He's so flat.
He just
Like, there's
kinda dull.
nothing. Like, this is how many? We watched a couple of his movies now,
This is the third.
and I just feel like he's asleep at the wheel the whole time. It's like, okay, Chuck, your motivation is just do a couple of kicks, a couple of punches, and there you go. You don't really need to act. He doesn't need to act. He never acts.
He's being himself.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
This is what, number 2 that we've done? We have 2 more? We better bring something amazing.
Well, how will we know if we were bringing it or not? That's the whole point, you know?
But damn.
I wanted to give it a second chance because, you know, it has a 4.8 online. So I was like, let's see. Let's give it a chance. Let's see if it's decent. Let's see if Chuck Norris can pull something out. I think it was kind of... It's not the worst movie by any stretch. When we say, is this the worst movie ever made? No. No. It doesn't even go on our list. No. You know, we're keeping our top 5 the way it is. You know, there is no beating Star Wars Holiday Special right now. I don't see it being possible for us to beat it.
Any movie is going to beat that.
Yeah, that and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the whole list of movies, the Leprechaun Back to the Hood. No, those are way worse movies, but this isn't great.
No, it's not great.
Stretch.
There's things in here that worked and things that really didn't. And for the things that worked, I would say that, you know, I did like the score. I did like the creepiness of the villain. He was creepy as hell.
He's the highlight.
They did try to put a lot of, you know, they did try to put some gore in there. It wasn't, you know, epic, but they did try. So I gotta say that this is probably a 4.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with the internet and say 4. Yeah,
I think this is a 4.
I can see why. That's one of the rare times that I'm gonna agree with the score.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the IMDb score for sure. But I can't even do my segment on this because, you know, after going through and reading all of the 10-star reviews, they were all very jokey.
I'm guessing they're all like Chuck Norris jokes.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is at his best, you know, like just celebrating the shit out of the movie over the top, kind of, you know, like you could tell it was just to boost the score.
Yeah.
And it was all jokes. All
a lot of that comes from that. It's like, you're a Chuck Norris fan. I think that sometimes the man is made by that myth. And one of the things about him is that joke about how amazing he is. Like, he can't be stopped. And that's like become who he is. That kind of embodies him, and it surpasses his actual fame. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes him more famous. And that's kind of like a shame, because I wish, and I can't believe this is a guy who has, like, you know, 80 movies or something like that. And I kind of like blows, probably not that much, but he's got enough movies where he was an action star.
Yes, I mean, he's definitely an action star, and that's like his role. Okay, fine. But like when it comes to the acting department, he's very dry.
It's not much.
He has no charisma.
I want to see him do something more.
Right, and I'm only speaking to this, you know, just going on the movies I have seen of his.
Yeah.
Now, I have not seen his whole filmography. It says as an actor, he's done 47 movies.
Okay, 47 movies.
Okay, so 47.
And some of that's TV shows like Texas Walker.
Yes, 47 things. Yes, he has done TV shows. But I just feel like I need to see more of his movies to make a really good assessment.
Yeah.
But so far what I've seen is that he's a cop. He's, you know, just doing the same shit over and over. I mean, I think he plays a cop in like all his movies. He has like Delta Force, isn't he? Some kind of special ops.
Yeah, it's like Marines.
And he's like that Hero and the Terror. Whatever movie that is, looks like he's a cop. Braddock, Missing in Action 3. Missing in Action,
that's a whole franchise, yeah.
Yeah, in Missing in Action movies, he's an operative.
Vietnam or whatever.
Yeah, he's a army guy or whatever. A soldier. So it's like, okay. And by the way, I kept calling it Action USA. It's Invasion USA. I can't get it right.
We had that problem when we saw the movie, too.
That movie was a piece of crap.
Well, let me ask you this. Which one do you like better, that or this?
No, this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm giving this a 4. I gave Invasion USA a 3.
See, I feel like I'm giving this a 4, but I do feel like I kind of enjoyed Invasion USA more because it was just so out of control. There was so much happening in that film.
I mean, it was, but I've never seen Missing in Action. I want to see all of those.
That's what I saw as a child. That is the one movie I saw as a child besides Sidekicks that I really remember of his. It's always been the movie I think that was the good one. Because Sidekicks was that goofy, stupid one that I kind of liked as a kid, but I know it was cheesy.
Was that Jonathan Brandis?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Joe Piscopo.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie called Forced Vengeance.
Yep.
He's
I know.
a security guard in that. He's always playing the same goddamn character. So I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. I mean, he could be Jason Statham. And just be a working man, Joe.
Working man? I can't. Yeah, so anyway, that's my thoughts on this. I feel like it wasn't the worst thing, but it was definitely not good at all.
I guess my next question, though, is Forest Warrior better?
What did I give Forest Warrior?
I think we gave it a 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we both agree that Forest Warrior so far is the highlight of these two movies. We'll rank them at the end.
It had a good message.
It was cute for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one doesn't... Hey, I think that's the problem with this movie, for me the most, is that it doesn't hit the horror enough.
No.
And it doesn't hit the action enough.
Mm-mm.
And it's not a mystery. There's no thriller aspect. So it doesn't really nail any of those genres that it's trying to go for. And if it did one of those better, like more horror and more demonic stuff and more crap happening there, maybe this could have been something bigger and better. But you need to hit one of these things and none of it worked. But I guess it's also probably the budget. I'm sure Canon was like cutting, because that was something that they were known for at the time, cutting the budget on sets.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. They were, at this point, they were dry.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I mean, I really want to see a movie of his where, he actually tries to show some acting chops.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're going to see it, but maybe we can find one.
No, we'll keep trying. Keep trying.
So, anything else you want to add to it?
That's all I got. It's enough. It's enough.
I'm sure there was other sound effects and stuff we wanted to talk about. We forgot.
Yeah, I already forgot.
Frank Shatter.
Frank Shatter. I mean, sounds like a ninja.
You think it would, yeah.
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 No, it's nothing that cool. Nothing.
All right. We're going to get out of here. As always, thanks for listening, and hit us up on Instagram at Just Another Movie Night and Joe at the Crafty Misfit. We love to hear your opinions. We would love to know Chuck Norris movies that are good. Who knows? Maybe you love this movie. Tell us why. But yeah, until next time, thanks for listening. Have a good one. Bye.
I must go now, and you must leave this place.
Wait a minute. Who are you talking about?
Leave! Leave!